Boston was faster and more maneuverable than PE-2. It could fly on one motor and was more indulgent to insufficient trained pilots. The most renowned and widely used attack aircraft was Il-2, nicknamed the Hunchback. It entered the war in July 1941, while in September 5 air units of the Moscow Defense Front were all equipped with Il-2. By 1942, thousands of Il-2 were at every front. Such mass use revealed its main deficiency, acquired in the course of its creation. The one-seat aircraft, unprotected from behind, became an easy kill for the German fighter. We carried out the assignment, but on our way back, we were intercepted by Messerschmitts. 1 returned out of 5. Here, just repair the wounds and replace the screw. It will fly like new. What is that? The Gureyev machine gun. Here is the author. Well, poverty is crafty. Problems will teach. Initially, Ilyushin thought of a two-seater with a gunner. It's a good aircraft, but it's worth 3 or 4 flights. Well, you made at least a couple of dozens of yours, because I crawl like a snake. If I had a gunner on my back, nobody would even dare fighting. Only by autumn 1942 the aircraft became two-seat and the gunner was back. Since then, such machines were dominating. One-seat attack aircraft were soon off the scene. Losses became less. The center of gravity problem was resolved by providing the wing with a slight sweep. The wing of such Il-2 was called the swept wing. As to its armament, Ilyushin failed to make a flying tank from the beginning. Early Il-2 armament could not be called anti-tank. But the aircraft was efficient in fighting armored vehicles, artillery units, parked airplanes, and other low-protected targets. Its armament included, among machine guns, also rockets. Il-2 was sometimes used as a fighter. For example, in Stalingrad, the Hunchbacks were intercepting German transport aircraft making deliveries to their encircled army. Armament enforcing works were continuous. The anti-tank topic remained actual throughout the entire war. Il-2 with the suspended 37mm cannons made its debut in summer 1943 at Kursk. Its maneuverability was a bit reduced, however, a cannon of such a caliber was a serious anti-tank weapon. The Il-2 arsenal was then added by special anti-tank armor-piercing bombs. They were of minor caliber, but hitting a tank, they would pierce even a very thick armor. The rockets also became armor-piercing. Il-2 mastered all nuances of the frontline battle, even such exotic as smoke screening. A total of 36,000 Il-2 attack aircraft was built during the war, an absolute record. In the second half of the war, there was not a single operation unattended by these aircraft. Big and slow, it was inevitably carrying its deadly cargo. The Germans did not like it when Il-2 were coming. Between the fights, there were minutes for rest. This happy melody was composed by pilot Yemelyanenko, a former student of the Moscow Conservatoire.
Немецкий офицер пришел в СССР, из них пришли 400 солдат. Из Греции табак, из Франции коньяк, голландский сыр и шоколад. Из Греции табак, из Франции коньяк, голландский сыр и шоколад. Немецкий батальон был очень удивлен, узнав, что мы умеем воевать. Колоть и рубить, стрелять и бомбить, на минном поле подрывать. Колоть и рубить, стрелять и бомбить, на минном поле подрывать. Немецкий офицер лежит в СССР, и вместе с ним 400 солдат. 120 под Орлом, 130 за Днепром, под Киевом 105 дней. 120 под Орлом, 130 за Днепром, под Киевом 105 дней.
What about the enemy? In the course of the war, the German troops supporting aircraft changed a lot. At first, there were the outdated but successful Junkers 87 dive bomber. During attacks, they used special demoralizing sirens. The sound of such a screaming, diving Junkers was probably the most vivid impression of the war. The Heinkel 111 bomber found its mass frontline application, while the less popular Junkers 88 was used in various variants from a fighter to a dive bomber. In 1942, there appeared a new Henschel 129 armored attack aircraft. There existed even an armored attack aircraft based on the renowned Focke-Wulf 189 reconnaissance aircraft. In the second half of the war, special attack aircraft modifications of the Focke-Wulf 190 fighters joined the battlefield. The Soviet aviation did not have this kind of variety. The factories were stamping the successful and approved Il-2. However, there were alternative layouts. In 1942, designer Dmitry Tomashevich came up with an interesting idea of fighting tanks. He offered an anti-tank aircraft to be produced in large amounts. The machine was called Pegasus. Its mass production was quite possible since the aircraft was not big, simple, and cheap in making. Neither it required qualified training. The huge fleet of such small aircraft was supposed to fight the enemy tank armies not by skills but by numbers. Like a real attack aircraft, Pegasus had an armored cabin. It could carry machine guns, cannons, and bombs. but it was not made in thousands. Tests showed that the aircraft was not at all easy in control. By the time the aircraft was tested, the Red Army gained superiority and a huge mass